Hey guys, today we're gonna see how to test our router, Next router, and for that what and all we need to change. The first thing we'll change in our component. It was a previous component only. In counter 2 we're gonna use Next router. For that we're gonna import use router from Next router, and after that we're gonna add a router from use router, and after that we will gonna add a dummy button, that is count. We're gonna moving from count 2 to count 1 using the click, and it will gonna redirect you to count page. So for that let's add styling only, and on click we're gonna add router dot push to count. Let's move to the screen. Okay, what was the issue? Invalid. Okay, this one is okay. What happened? So router dot push to the count. Yeah, so let's move to the screen. Count to yeah, we have a count. So if you click on count, it will gonna redirect us to a count page. Yeah, again we're gonna see that because there is a little bit lag. Move to count, it will directly moving to count page. Now how to test this scenario? So we're gonna go to our last test case only, count to dot count to dot test only. Here we need to write our test case first. So we're gonna add another test case, test the routing part. So what and all we have using the counter 2 is use router. So in Next.js use router we're gonna return router context. So using the router context the routing is happening. So this router it will gonna return a router context, and we're gonna use a value that is a router object, and we'll pass it to router context, and we're gonna routing through the one component to one page on the page. So let's see how to do that. So first I'll create a function that will gonna return us a router object. So we're gonna add in our test utils, and the name will be create a mock router.js. So we'll add it to Node.js and creating a file name create mock router .js, and it will be we'll need to actually write the actual object that will gonna return from this function. Create mock router. This is a router. Gonna return me a object that contains the base path, contains path name, route. So these are the default values you're passing, and we can modify it passing the particular base path or path name also. So we have a query again, have a params. So query is the object, params as path, back also. So back is a function, so we are initializing it as a just.a mocking function, just a function. Before pop state, function prefetch, prefetch also a function, just.function. There is a push also a function that we're going to use, in our case. Reload also there. Replace also a just.function. Events object that contains on another function of just.function, emit just.function, and we have a is fallback, false, is local domain, will also false, and we have is ready, is true. We have a default local as we have domain locals as a empty array. We have a is preview as a false, and as I said that we can basically pass value according in your scenario, and you can modify this return values. So we have created mock router. Let's go to the count2.test.js first thing we'll do, we'll gonna render it. Before rendering, what we need, because we have said that we need to use router context, because use router is returning a router context. So we're going to import first that router context from Next server, and the second thing we need to import create mock router from test util create mock router. So first we're going to create a router object, that we're going to create a mock router. We're going to return all the objects that it contains, and we'll use router context dot provider, and the value is, we're passing the router, and now we can render our page, basically count. Now the user events, it will be the, like we need to click on that count button, after it is going to redirect to a new page. So I need to do a user event, that user.click, and it will be screen dot get by role, and it's a button, and the button name is it's a count, right? And what we can expect, that the router push is actually happened or not, right? So expecting that router dot push to have been called with, what, the count, right? Let's see in our scenario, test the counter 2. We can see test the counter 2, the tester routing is passed. So this is how you actually test your routing part.